This is project 4 video number 2, the one in which I program it up. I already started with the main subroutine, the main function. I'm going to work on the subfunction. We said it calls nothing, so I'll tell the reader calls nothing by calling the return variable, or it returns nothing. So I'll call the return variable dummy to tell the user or the reader of this code that it returns nothing. And I said this is going to be ShowInfo, and depends on the wavelength and the frequency. That's the end for the function. Now the meat of the function goes in here, and in my outline I say go ahead and print the wavelength and the frequency. So let's try doing that. So I want to do it in a way that makes it look pretty good. I think it's disk or display. I'm going to try wavelength. This is a string constant, they call it. A bunch of text just included in quotes. And that's the first argument of my display. And then the second one is lambda. Lambda. And then another piece of text. I'm going to give it a space meters for the units. And quote and parentheses. Let's see if that works. Save it. ShowInfo. And then try running ShowInfo. And I'll go, let's go 500 nanometers. 500 times 10 to the minus 9. And then, whatever, I'll call that 3 exponent 8 for the speed of light divided by 500 exponent minus 9. Maybe I think what I'll do is 1 exponent 10. So I think that's in the infrared. 1e minus 10. 500. Nope. I want to go the other way. Minus 6 perhaps. So that would be 1,000 times 10 to the minus 9th. So outside the visible, I think it's in the infrared. And then 3 times 10 to the 9th divided by that. So 3 times 10 to the 15th hertz. So ShowInfo, and it says lambda. Looks like a spelling error. We got lambda and lambda. S. And so I got oh, I got it wrong. Disk, you can only have one argument. I want to try putting that in curly brackets. I think that makes it a list. And we'll see if that works. Curly braces. Alright, then it prints those braces. So, wavelength. So that's no good. I'm going to try splitting it up. So display that. And then disp. You can put a bunch of commands on the same line since I'm only displaying the same thing here. I think I'm going to try that. See if each one becomes on a new line. Oh, I know. I think I'll make it all one string. And just display what I want to show. So I need a variable name. I think I'll just call it info. Info equals, and then wavelength colon plus, and then num to string. Converts a number to a string, so a string is just a line of text, or like a quote, like this. What's inside the inside the single quotes here is a string, and I want to convert lambda to a string. So lambda and these pluses here, when you're adding strings, is called concatenation. And then I said meters. And let's see how that works. And try just displaying with a single argument being info. Oh, looks like info is a special word. I'm not so sure. Like the first time I used that. Did it? Info. Yeah, it looks like it's something special. So I'm gonna call it radiation info, or I think LightInfo. LightInfo. The fact that it was coming up tells me that it's a keyword. Info is an expression already used, and so I'd be changing the definition if I use it. So LightInfo seems to be free. So let's see if that works. Then I might have to do some looking up if it doesn't. I'm going to try. I'm not going to look it up yet. I think I'll try an array of these things. An array of strings, and then try printing that. Control S, LightInfo equals alright, I think I got it. That, it was printed out twice because I don't have a semicolon there. Let's put a semicolon there that says don't print that. I don't think anything gets printed there, but semicolon won't hurt there either. And then wavelength 1 times 10 to the minus 6 meters. Alright, I think that looks good. So far, we might clean it up at some point, make it look prettier, but at least we got the information there. Alright, so the key was to create an array. This is a 3-element array within the square brackets of each piece of text that I want to put there. My attempt to concatenate did not seem to work, so I could look that up, but I found a workaround. I'm happy with it the way it's working. And then I say the next thing I'm pretty sure is print the frequency. I'm going to try just copying these two lines, Control C, Control V, and then LightInfo equals frequency. I think I want it to line up with wavelength a little bit better. So this would be hertz. Since I wrote out meters, I'll write out hertz rather than using the abbreviation. And this should be F. Alright, let's Control S, see what that looks like. Wavelength, frequency. Wow. I don't know why it's printing it out in that format rather than 3 times 10 to the 15th. But let's see, 3, 6, 9, 12, 15. I think I'm happy with it. I think I'll just take what we get on that. You can make it look better if you want, but if you change it to scientific notation, then you'll got to worry about how many digits, what precision you use, and I think I'll just leave it like that. Alright. Now I think we got a bunch of if then else stuff going on. So now we're supposed to print out what kind of radiation it is based on what lambda is. So if lambda is less than 0.01, let's try that. If lambda is less than 0.01 nanometers, E minus 9, print I don't think I want to print, I want to display I'm going to think of a better name for it, but I think I'll use this as a placeholder. This is gamma rays. Gamma radiation, gamma ray radiation. I think I'll leave it like that. And I'll put else, and afraid I forgot to put the end there, so I'll go ahead and put that. Else print or display undefined. So I think I'll put radiation and put that up here too. Type of radiation, gamma ray. Type of radiation, undefined. I got all the other ones to cover, but I want to see if I got this if then else, if else statement. I'm not sure if I need the word then after that, so we'll see. Control S. Wavelength, 1 times 10 to the minus 6 meters. Frequency, 3 times 10 to the 15th hertz. Type of radiation, undefined. I think I'm okay with that so far, but let's try 1e minus 15 type of radiation, gamma ray. That's not consistent. These two numbers aren't consistent with each other, so I think I'll go back to the old one there. But at least I can see that it seems to be working. Alright, I want to try a bunch of else-if statements here. Let's try one to start with. I think it's else. Yeah, there it is. Else-if. And let's see what we got here. Else if, oh, I wanted to look at my paint here. If it's greater than or equal to 0.01 nanometers and it's less than 0.02 nanometers, I think I'm going to try if lambda greater than or equal to 0.01 e minus 9 and lambda, I think it might be ampersand, ampersand. Let's try it that way. And lambda is less than something, 0.02 nanometers, e minus 9. Then what we do is to display it didn't work. Type of radiation, let's say, I think I'll call it gamma ray or X-ray. We're in the overlap region, so it's gamma ray or X-ray. Now let's make sure I got that right. I want it to be less than 0.02 nanometers. Yep, that's where we are. Less than 0.02 nanometers. And it's in that overlap region between gamma ray and X-ray. Alright, so let's try running that. I'm not sure of this logical AND, that's called. It's either this, it's this, and that. So it's got to be in that particular region. Need both conditions met. Let's see if that actually generates an error. And then if we got, alright, let's go 0.5 e minus 9, and then this is baloney here. I think I'll just change that to a 1. It's not using that for this except that it printed it out, so we got to assume that the calling function has that right, that relationship right. So wavelength 0.5 nanometers. Oh, I think it's maybe 0.005 will give us gamma rays, and then if I make that 0.015, should be in the overlap region, gamma ray or X-ray. And I already had the undefined, so that actually seems to be working. So apparently the logical AND is 2 ampersands. And that's good to know. So I'm going to copy this, Control C, Control V. And now we need it to be, well, let's see, greater than or equal to 0.02 nanometers, but less than 10. And if that's the case, it's just X-ray. Greater than or equal to, but less than 10 nanometers. So if it's greater than or equal to, it's whatever this number is. And less than 10 nanometers, then it's X-ray. Then I'll copy the last 2 lines there. I don't know. I think if I check each one, then I won't have to go back and check everything at the end. So this is in gamma ray. If I could do 2 of those at the same time. So that's, I go really short, 0, and then semicolon, and then 1.5. Then it was all the way up to 10 for the next one, so I think I'll just go 5. Let's see what happens if I run that. So I get the very shortest wavelength. It says it's gamma ray, and then it says it's X-ray or gamma ray, and then X-ray, which is just what I was hoping for. And that's supposed to be to 10. Alright, so now copy that. I'm going to go Control V. What I'm going to do is go ahead and type in the rest of them, but I'll turn off the video for a second so you don't have to watch all that. I think you get the idea on how to proceed now. I'll type in the rest of them. We'll see how that goes. Well, actually, I do want to show you this very next one, because this next one is just if it's equal. And I think the logical equal test is that. So it's, if it's equal to 10, type of radiation border between X-rays and X-ray radiation and ultraviolet. I think at 10, if it's equal to 10 nanometers, that's exactly what it is. Borderline X-ray ultraviolet, that one particular value. If you type in that exact value, you should know you're right on the border there. And so I want to check to see if this double equal sign is indeed the logical equal. I'm testing, is lambda equal to that, as opposed to the single equal sign is for assigning a value to something. So let's try saving it, and then running it. And I want this one. Copy that, paste it, and put 10 times 10 to the minus 9th in there. Hit return. And I get, this is where I ran the ShowInfo all the way up here. And I get all the ones that I had, and then the last one. This is interesting. Oh yeah, 1 times 10 to the minus 8 is 10 times 10 to the minus 9, so that's good. Frequency 1 hertz. That was just a copy. We're not calculating that. That's just garbage. And then type of radiation, border between X-ray and ultraviolet. I think that's perfect. Okay, so now I'll try that again. I'm gonna do the rest of these behind the scenes so that the video won't be quite so long. Here I go. Okay, so I think I've got them all typed in. My last test was for radio waves. I guess I can do one more test to include the undefined region. That was greater than 100,000 kilometers, which is 1 times 10 to the 8th. Meters, so I'll go 2 times 10 to the 8th meters. And the last one, it says undefined. So before that, I had radio waves, microwaves, the border between infrared and microwaves. So I think that's working. I think I want to make that stand out a little bit more. My message. And so I'm going to say disp, and then just a string of asterisks. So I go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 20. Just go a bunch of them like that. Close quote, close parentheses. Try Control C for that. Print the same thing at the beginning there, just so it doesn't get mixed up with stuff that the user is typing in. Try Control V for paste. See how that looks. Alright. Shorten that up a little bit. Get rid of the white space. And yeah. I think I'll do it where I'm just doing one at a time. I think that's the way the user's generally going to do it. So, yeah, I'll just make some space there. And then most recent, that's the up arrow. And this is ShowInfo, that's what I typed in. And then wavelength equals that many meters, that many hertz. What type is it? Infrared. Just depends on the wavelength. I'm only testing the wavelength now. That takes care of ShowInfo, and now we need to get to ShowEM radiation info. It's that one. I'm going to open that baby up. And I already put that in there to include the attribution. I think I'll put some attribution in here. So let's go end and then attribution. I think I'll do the bracket method and then close brace percent. And I want to say I'll call it range values for named type of radiation from 2017 2017 version Wikipedia microwave. Article, and then see if I can give it the URL. Alright, so I got that in there, and that's documentation of finishing touches, but I don't, just right, I'll forget about that. So Control S. Then I'll go over to the new one here, and let's see what I said. This is the main function. Let's see what I said we were going to do there. So this one is supposed to be very forgiving of just how you type in the wave feature name here. Let's see how that works out. Alright, first I want to initialize C equals, and it's 299 meters, and then let's see what the rest of that looks like. 792,458. 792,458 is that many meters per second. That's C. And then what's the next thing I gotta do? Alright, I want to change the feature name, put it in all lowercase, and put it in. Alright, let's not all that familiar with working with strings, so let's see if I can find something. Octave, I want to truncate, or let's try remove white space from a string. Yeah, I guess I do mean that, but at any rate, manipulating strings. Trim. Remove leading and trailing white space. So string trim. Trim. Let's try it. String trim. I'm supposed to be putting it in something else. Wave feature value. No, wave feature name maybe. Wave feature name. WF name equals. WF name equals string trim of wave feature name. Alright, let's see how that works out for me. That looks kind of green there. Percent. Close there. Yeah, now it looks blue, so I think I had the order wrong on the long comments. So I'm going to switch over to the other one. Yeah, that end function is green too, so it's got to be percent close curly brace. There we go. Control S. And where was I here? I'm going to save that and then try running it. I didn't put a semicolon here, so I should print it when it does that. And show em rad info. I'm going to go wavelength. I'm going to go capital wavelength, comma, and then maybe 500 times 10 to the minus 9th meters. And so I printed out C 792458. Let's see if yeah, 792458 after the 299. So I guess that represents a check on that. And I have assigned it to that. Oh, I wanted to see if it would get rid of white space. So let's try that again, but in particular, leading white space. So I think just to see what it looks like if I don't trim it. I just assign it. See if it actually changed anything. Alright, let's try and enter. Alright, yeah, so when it just assigned it, it's got all this space in front of it. Let's try it with a tab too. So I'll put a tab in there. Oh, that doesn't seem to do anything. Tab. I'm going to try escape. Oh no, I don't know what that is. So I can't even type a tab in there, so that's not going to help me out too much, but at least I see it's got a bunch of white space, and then I try to trim it, and it's got no white space, so the trimming operation seems to have worked. And then what else did I want to do? I think change it to lowercase. Remove, convert it to lowercase, and then truncate it to 3 characters. Alright, so used manipulating strings. Let's, I want to go ahead and get that in the attribution. To is octave web page on my page entitled Manipulating Strings. And then I don't think I copied and pasted that, or pasted that. So let's paste that. Control C. We'll copy it first, and then paste it over here. And put that on the next slide here. Alright. I think that's for help with manipulating strings. Alright, to find out how to remove white space. Now, there's a function called toLower that I'm going to just try from memory. The toLower of WF name. I don't think I need that anymore. And let's try save it and run it. Alright, so the first thing it did was to strip off the white space, and then it changed it to all lowercase. Alright, let's see. So somebody incorrectly thought that was 2 words and they capitalized both of them. I'm gonna go. So they did that. 9, close. 9, and close parentheses. And so yeah, it changes everything to all lowercase. Alright. Then I want to take substring. I think I'm working with substrings here. So I'm going to go to here. I'm going to try octave substring. It takes me to the same thing. So poke around in here a little bit. There is a way to do it in that string manipulations page described there, but I wanted to do it this way. Like take here they've assigned in this Stack Overflow question. What was the question? What's the most efficient way to remove part of a string and save it in one variable and the rest in another variable? I just want to save part of it in one variable. So they show that A is equal to a long string, and this is telling us that A is just an array of characters. That's what a string is. And this says assign the first 4 elements of the array A to the variable named B. So B will now be an array that contains only 4 elements. So, and it'll be the first 4 elements here. So that's the way I want to do it. And see if I can. I better reference this. Used, I'll call it Stack Overflow Q and A on strings at I'm not sure I pasted that. At that location, to see how to take first 3 characters string. Alright, so that's my attribution. You'll have different attribution, of course. So this says WF name equals WF name 1:3. In other words, I take the first 3 characters, I create a string that's just the first 3 characters of WF name and then assign it to WF name. So we're using the storage location. Then let's see how that goes for me. Alright, so the idea is pretty much no matter what the person types in there, if it's a reasonable approximation to wavelength, then it's treated as if they had typed in wavelength. Alright, so I think I did that part. And then let's see what was supposed to come next here. So if it's equal to that, alright, there's a command called switch, which I think is handier than if then else in this case. So I'm gonna, not one that I use that often, so I want to search on that. So I'm going to Google switch, octave, switch, the switch statement. Switch, and then you say case, case, case. Alright, let's see if I got that. So that's the idea. Let's try using it. So I think I want to give credit for it first. So Control C, switch statement. Alright. So is the page, web page, octave web page, are called octave web page, the switch statement at then copy the URL, paste the URL, to see how to use the switch. Alright, let's try it. I think it goes first off, at the end, these guys should all be indented. I'm going to try just hitting tab with all of that selected. Yep, that works. So switch WF name. I gotta look at that, I'm not sure. So, the switch statement. Actually, the title was the switch statement with that in lowercase. But switch, and then in parentheses, looks like there's a space there too. I don't know if that's important or not, but I'm going to put the space, and then case. Let's try it. So that goes in parentheses. And then I want to go case wav. Then do some stuff. And then case frequency. If I trim it down so it's just the first three characters that aren't leading white space are just FRE, then I want to do something else. And then probably has an end there, which I can type end switch, I'm pretty sure, but I choose to just use end for compatibility with MATLAB. So if I want to run this in MATLAB, I don't think it understands end switch. Older versions didn't anyway. I don't know if they've changed that. So if it's WAV, then if the value is the wavelength, then the frequency, then lambda equals wave feature, it's this up here, the value of the second argument. So I just, that's from my function statement. Make sure I don't misspell it or something. And frequency equals C/lambda. And call ShowInfo of lambda, comma, frequency, comma, F. Alright, I think I put a semicolon. Various locations. Did I ever check to make sure this part actually worked? See what I got in the command window to see if I was, yeah. So I got it to come down to just 3 letters. Okay, so I don't want to print that out anymore. I'll put semicolons after it. And I'll copy that stuff and paste it there. But lambda equals C/frequency. If the wave feature value is frequency, and F equals, yeah, you know what? I think I'll reverse the order there. So F is just the wave feature value. And then lambda would be the same thing, but I think it's more readable this way, is C over F. Frequency is the wave feature value. Alright. This actually just did a lot there. So this was the end of the switch structure. And then this is the end of the program over here. Alright. Control S. Command window. Show. Oh, I think I already did that. So show that. Lambda, I misspelled it again. Where is it? In this one. I think Control F L A M D A. There it is. Close the search. Type that in as a lambda. Control S. Try that. Alright, call. I think I got a little bit carried away. Took it a little bit too literally to call that. Took my outline too literally. You don't call it, you just type in the function name. You don't write the word call. Alright, so you do call it, but you call it, to call it, you just write the function name. Alright, so I'm providing a wavelength. It's 500 times 10 to the minus 9th meters. That should be in the visible. And it says it's in the visible. So we get that many hertz. Hard to read, but it's 3, 6, 9, 12, 599 times 10 to the 12th hertz. And let's try typing in a frequency. And let's spell it. In the worst possible way, frequency, and I think I'll make it 60 kilohertz, 60 E3 hertz. So that should be in the radio range of the spectrum. And yep, it says it is. Let's see what happens if I abbreviate this FRQ. So it tells me what C is. That's extra information. I don't think I was really supposed to be printing out what C was. So let's put a semicolon on there. And then save it. So not real good error handling, but it doesn't crash or anything. Just doesn't do anything if you don't type in even something that can be remotely understood as frequency. So if I do type in something whose first three letters are frequency, it takes care of it. So let's try being nice to it, make sure it works when you're that. So type in what you're really supposed to type in, or I guess it doesn't much matter, but yeah, I got a radio wave at 4,996.541 meters. Alright, this seems to be working, but I was supposed to put something in about where I got this stuff. So let's look to see. I think I must put that in here. print all info from the electromagnetic spectrum table in the 2017 version of the Wikipedia microwave article. So let's try that. So I think I'll put that in the ShowInfo one. ShowInfo over here. And I'm going to do is draw a line. Disp. Alrighty. Let's see how it looks. Then disp. Put type radiation determined from the electromagnetic spectrum table in the, I wonder if it'll show those double quotes like that, microwave I think I'll call it the Wikipedia microwave article. No, article. Microwave. At. Then, let's see how this fits in there. I think that's going to be too long, but we shall see. It's actually pretty short. Now, put that on the next line. So, single quote, close, and then, so these were red up there. So I'd say something's wrong. Probably have the, no, it turned red. Disp. I was thinking it was the double quotes there that it didn't like, but I think we're okay. Alright, let's see what it looks like. So, wavelength that, I think after the show info, I'd like to print a space. Let's see. DISP open, so just a blank line, and maybe one before the very end too. See if that looks a little bit better. I think that was all this stuff with function. Oh, it is indented. Let's see. It's looking like it wasn't indented, but I think we're good. Control S to save it, and then try running it. See what it looks. Okay, show info frequency 60 times 10 to the third, and then I'm getting wavelength is that type of radiation determined from the electromagnetic spectrum table. So I don't like the fact that we can't see everything, but maybe if I just move that over. Alright. And I think that's good. Wavelength, type, and then type of radiation determined from the electromagnetic spectrum table in the Wikipedia article. Got a spelling error there. Article. Type of radiation determined from the, I think I'll put spectrum and table on the next line. Yeah, let's make it look a little bit neater there. Spectrum and table. Control X. Control V. And that pretty much then doesn't run over. I think I'll make this a little bit longer. Make it a little bit longer up there, so just for looks. And see if I mess everything up there. Alrighty. Alright. Wavelength is that. I think it would look better if this stuff was moved over a few spaces, so I think I'll work on that. I think I'm going to pause the video while I do that. Okay, I added some space here and here. And I'm going to do Control F, find type. I had already typed that in when I started. Maybe I should show you this. I'm going to try 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 type and replace all. And see if that moved everything over. So I'll do a Control S. And then try running it here, and yeah, it moved it over, except the only place I didn't want it to change it was that very last one, so let's change that. Then Control S. Alright, I don't know if that really looks all that much better, but it stands out a little bit more, I guess. So wavelength, that, frequency, that, type of radiation, that. Let's try, if I tried times 10 to the 15th, I get 60 times 10 to the 15th, and it's in the X-ray regime. If I want to know, just to see, let's go wavelength. I think it's more, if you're curious, what is the visible frequency? And you know that the visible wavelength is about 500 nanometers. So that would be, I think in the red, E minus 9 is nanometer. And we get, the frequency is huge. So it's 3, 6, 9, 12, so 599 times 10 to the 12th. So I believe that's terahertz, so about 600 terahertz. So the wavelength in nanometers, 500, not that much different than the frequency in terahertz, 600 roughly. Alright, I think we've got this done, so I'm going to call that a wrap for project 4 video number 2.